came in.
Who fired the first shot?
It was certainly Scraby.
It was
There's
not
no question.
me.
No question. I came in and said, "Hey, what's happening?" And he just went right in.
And that's not what happened.
Oh, that's exactly what happened.
Typically, that's how it goes, Scraby. Chris walks in, and you got a little side comment or one of them little side pokes.
Yeah.
And usually, he just ignores you.
It cost you this time.
Today, he had time.
It cost
Well,
you.
now he's just making fun of my family. He's making fun of my dog. He's making fun of everything
How did I make fun
that
of your
is dear
dog?
to me.
When did that happen?
None of that happened, Scraby. You literally just made that up on the fly.
You might be right.
More than right.
Chris says,
What we got today? Mets Dodgers last night turned into a little bit of a laugher.
Did you see that ball?
Which one?
Well, I didn't see it. I mean, the one that's up, that's still flying out of
Otani's? Yeah.
New York. What a shot!
I think it's pretty simple. Face him with no one on. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you're facing him
Isn't
with
that
somebody
incredible?
on, he's gonna get you.
17 out of 20.
That's
with
ridiculous.
runners on base. That's 850 batting average, not slugging. Batting average.
Eddie has not a hit with no one on.
No one on, no
Over.
hits. Yeah, that's been crazy. And I'd rather be lucky than good if you're Dave Roberts, because Dave Roberts, as far as I can tell, had no intentions of playing Kike Hernandez in the playoffs. He didn't start him the first 3 games of the series against the Padres. But because Miguel Rojas got hurt and they moved Tommy Edman to shortstop, they've lucked out. Kike Hernandez continues his postseason bashing. And the Dodgers are changing the game of baseball for the worse, because everyone's going to look at what they're doing, Tony. They may win it all, and it's all about the bullpen nights, game after game after game. Walker Buehler was really, really good, but Dave Roberts had no intention of letting him face that Met lineup for a third time. And as it turned out, he was 100% right in doing so. I mean, 5 shutout innings from the Dodger bullpen again. How about the Dodgers have pitched 4 shutouts in the last 5 games? Come on.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now.
I don't know if this isn't where the Dodgers want it to be. This is kind of out of necessity. But it may not matter, because if Walker Buehler's going to throw the ball like he did yesterday, they ain't going to have to lean on the bullpen too many more times. There's just another starter that you have added in there that can get you some length.
Is he the most amped up starter
He's always,
maybe I've ever seen?
He's always been that way.
When he struck out
Especially in the
Francisco
postseason.
Lindor last night with the bases loaded, I don't know what he yelled, but it
was long. It was long. It lasted from like the
he covered a
mound.
few people in that whatever conversation he was having with whoever he was having it with.
I know what he yelled. He was like, "I'm so thankful that I struck you out, sir." As he was
Is that what
walking
John
off.
Boy posted
that's
on
what
his
he
site?
posted, yes,
yeah, I
right.
find that hard to believe. But yeah, Dodgers, Yankees, get ready for it, right? It's a fait accompli. I mean, this baseball season is going to end horribly for all of us, because we're going to have to watch 2 teams that nobody likes outside of the Bronx and Los Angeles. I mean, these are the 2 teams we all love to hate more than any other teams, the 2 evil empires, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. But I don't see any way around it. I mean, the Guardians and Yankees are about to start Game 3 in Cleveland. Maybe the Guardians will remember how to play baseball when they get in their home stadium and give the Yankees a run for their money. But I think the magic of the Mets. The problem is the magic of the Mets requires 7th, 8th inning, 9th inning comebacks. And right now, the Dodger bullpen's just not giving anybody anything.
The Dodgers are better. I mean, just like if the Padres had advanced, the Padres would have a better team.
Agreed.
And right now, it's playing out exactly, what it would look like on paper. I'll push back on one thing you say, Chris. I think, and I know this because he mentioned it, I think one of the first pressers, that he had to try to figure out a way to get Kike in that
Oh, he
lineup.
did mention that.
He mentioned
Okay.
it early.
All
But,
right.
it still took Miguel Rojas getting hurt before they found that spot for him. And, quite frankly, he's been a savior for their offense.
No, I mean, they had no offense in that game last night until he hit that home run. They had 2 runs on the board
That
because
were
the
all
Mets played
yeah.
fast and loose with the baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was in an inning where Tyrone Taylor made one of the greatest catches really in postseason history. It'll never be remembered because they lost the game and they're going to lose the series. But that was an unbelievable.
That? Like
what you think? You think the Mets are going to win?
Their magic has not run out yet because they won Game 2. I'm hopeful that they can win Game 4. I'm hopeful. Freddie Freeman out of the lineup for the Dodgers. Hopeful, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then we'll get a Mets Yankees, and that'll almost be just as bad.
Wait, Freddie Freeman out of the lineup? He's not going to play next game?
It says Freddie Freeman out of Game 4 lineup.
See, they got a 2-1 lead. They can afford to let him try to, because that ankle's still. Quite frankly,
he doesn't even look like he can walk at all.
It's amazing that he's even out there.
You got to get. I mean, and he's picking up ground balls, unlike Pete Alonso, who's swimming in dirt over there, trying to come up with ground balls. Pete Alonso looks like a polar bear trying to get those ground balls. That's why they call him the polar bear, right?
My guy is consistently swimming in dirt.
He's just like dives face first in there and doesn't ever pull the ball out of there with him.
It's like a pig pen over there at first base.
That's a problem. But
swapping around in dirt.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I guess the Padres can, feather in their cap. It was reported that the Game 5 was the highest viewed baseball game ever in Japan. So I guess we get that going for us. The matchup between Ohtani and Yamamoto.
Yeah. I think we all know why the Dodgers are going to the World Series, guys. They want that Japan audience to be watching every single World Series game.
Well, again, you're just you know what? Are you going to say anything like this the year the Padres win it all? Are you going to say that it was just that baseball let them? Because I don't think it's fair. Well, I don't think it's fair to continue insinuating that everything is just set up ahead of time. Why do we even watch these games?
Can you imagine?
I didn't say I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a fan of sports and the competition, and I get tired of people just every time their team loses a game saying that it was just predetermined.
Can you imagine the MLB walking in like the Secret Service into the Padres locker room after they took the 2-1 lead, standing?
You guys got to stop this.
Listen,
we got a problem.
Had a great year.
We got a problem.
We're going to need you to stand down.
We got a problem. Look, some of it would make sense if the Dodgers and the Yankees were in the thing every year. They're not. Last year, baseball was asleep at the switch. They let Texas and Arizona get in the final.
They didn't see that one
and
coming.
Then they let the Astros, the cheatingest team in the history of the sport, get into the World Series 3 times in 5 years. I just...
Why do you think there was not many punishments?
All right.
All right, MLB
you know what? You're right. Why am I even bothering?
Have it, buddy.
Why am I bothering?
I know it wasn't fixed. It's just fun because it does line up to be a perfect World Series for Major League Baseball.
But it does, but it hasn't happened since 1981. That's 43 years that Major League Baseball has somehow been kind enough to allow other teams to play in the World Series other than Dodgers versus Yankees.
So kind.
Shohei Ohtani was on the Angels for his entire career. They couldn't figure out a way to get him in, so that's why now that he's on a team that's actually in the playoffs, they can force it through.
They had Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, 2 of the biggest stars in the sport, and they couldn't cheat enough to help them, right?
Well, Mike Trout is always hurt, so.
All right. Well, everything is just, never mind then.
I should take all this back because I've been telling people for 2 straight days on the Scravy Show that there is no conspiracy.
Yeah,
I'm just messing around. There is no conspiracy.
Like kind of pretty fresh news. Tony Bennett, Virginia basketball coach, suddenly retires today.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll announce why, I guess, tomorrow. There's a conference tomorrow. But Tony Bennett is retiring effective immediately, the school announced Thursday.
Just called it a career.
Yeah, 364 and 136 record at Virginia.
He's got two of the most bipolar results in the history of the NCAA tournament,
Ain't that
right?
the truth, right?
He lost
first
to
round exit,
Maryland, Baltimore County.
First seed
ever.
Yeah.
Number 1 seed to lose, and then the very next year they won it all.
He redid it.
He got it all.
Yeah.
So I guess he would probably take that.
Not much going on in sports. WNBA, we told you guys to tune in to that game.
You should have. It was a hell of a game.
It was a heck of a ball game. New York Liberty winning.
Ionescu shot
on the last shot. On the
that was
last
a
second
Caitlin
shot.
Clark. That was a Caitlin Clark logo
Sabrina
shot.
Ionescu.
Yeah, 3-pointer with 1 second left.
It was logo distance.
Yes, it was. That was a cold-blooded 3. That was a great game. Breanna Stewart was, fantastic. I think she scored 30, had 11 boards, blocked 5 shots. She proved that she's one of the best players in the world. That was a great game.
Yeah.
2 of the 3 games have been right down to the very last second. One went to overtime, and then the game last night. It's been fun to watch these ladies play. And I did tune in last night. I enjoyed that. But, look, I mean, there's not a lot you can say when you just got bounced by the Dodgers, and they're on a roll toward the World Series. So.
Something going on right now.
Yes,
it's always fun to try
Juan
to watch.
Soto wasn't set, and he's mad.
Juan Soto was.
He wasn't set by his 8 seconds, and so they gave him an automatic
strike.
strike.
He got a strike. Okay,
and he's arguing it. And
all right. Well, if he argues it some more, they'll give him another strike.
Well, they're
right?
meeting about it, so clearly somebody messed up because they would trust me. If they don't mess around with the clock.
One strike.
He would give him one.
Aaron Boone's happy with the decision.
Even when things
he
go in his
just
favor.
screamed bloody murder over there.
It's funny.
Aaron, it's 1 strike.
When it gets
Relax.
like this, it's actually fun to watch a baseball game with no sound.
Yeah.
Like you just get.
You can make it up yourself.
Why is Alex?
Oh, I don't have to make that up. What the bleep, 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 bleep was that about? Just said Aaron Boone. Not said, yelled Aaron Boone.
I mean, they've played all season long, and now Juan Soto's like angry about the rules. Come on, bro.
Well,
You're just a Juan Soto hater. Stop it.
we're
well,
both.
I was also
you know
mad
what,
at Alex
this is the
Verdugo.
only thing that's
Both of you.
It's the only thing that Scraby and I agree with. We're Juan Soto dislikers. I'm not going to say hater.
All right, let's get to break. As we said, not much popping off today, but we're gonna make it work with you till 4:30. Thursday Night Football follows the show around 4. We got a hard out of 4:26:25.
All right, set your clock by it.
4:27:30.
There you go.
All right.
Eric Hosmer has a pretty interesting theory about the Dodgers and their pursuit of more talent. We'll get into it. Plus, we'll have some Aztec updates for you. The Mountain West Conference, what was it?
Media
Day.
Today, yeah.
Media
Get the
Day was today.
latest.
We'll get you some of that, get you caught up with that as well. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side. Let's have fun.
All right, as we like to say, come for the sports, stay for the fights between Scraby and myself. I think it's going to be ongoing all day long because he's really under my skin
he's
so far
needling today.
And literally did nothing.
And he's just continuing to do
the
it.
needler.
Yes, he is.
Well,
so.
can we please?
You're gonna take a beating because I'm gonna beat you badly in this war of the
down,
words.
son.
Oh,
I usually do.
Can someone clip that and send it to the police when I don't show up to work one day? No, in the break,
Here we go.
Chris needed some help with his computer.
And I asked nicely, and you did not move a muscle.
I actually did not hear you because I had my headphones on.
As a matter of fact, he rolled his eyes so deep
No,
in the
I
back
did
of his
not.
head that I thought
Well,
they were
once
gonna
I
get stuck.
found out what the request was,
That's what I'm talking
which
about.
the request was, can you help me find my email?
Yeah, because normally I have a access to it through the home screen, but it didn't. That particular access did not show up on
Didn't
my
exist at the
screen
time.
as it normally does.
Respectfully, Chris, I've never heard of anyone in my life with as much trouble with the simple task.
I don't know that it's anyone in your life because I honestly think that
You
I'm
can't-
reasonably savvy for my age and generation.
You couldn't get to your email just now.
I just did, but without your help, you never moved a muscle. I finally organized it and figured it out without any help from you.
I hear no lies.
And I think, look, I do not claim to be a computer genius, not even close. But for my age and generation, I put myself ahead of most people.
Don't give me that.
Top tier,
Oh,
he says.
easily.
Don't give me
Easily.
the for my age generation because
Top tier.
just
for
because
the-
you're older doesn't mean you can't learn how to use a computer.
I use one all the time.
I mean, it does get more difficult because they keep adding new stuff.
Can I also bring this up now that we're on this subject?
Go ahead,
Last
Greg.
week, Chris needed to bring his computer to Petco to broadcast the game. He failed to inform us that he hasn't updated his computer in like 6 months.
That's
so it
true.
took 45 minutes for it to update.
That's true. That's
funny.
Guilty as charged. but it did get charged up in time.
It did.
So that
It
I
did.
could be on an for the show.
And now
did,
you
it
got
did.
an updated computer at the house now. So
But you
good to
should,
go.
and now my computer at home is working fine. No, Adam was the one that was really fried over that one because he was trying to help me, and he's like, "What is going on with this
I
computer?"
can only
And it was
imagine.
doing, you know, that little
This is during
spinny
playoff
thing.
time?
It was during before the game.
before
before
game
the game,
four,
game
maybe?
4.
He lost his
You know that
mind.
little spinny thing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
happens
the
when your
spinny wheel
computer
of
says
death.
just wait.
The buffering would
Like,
used to be
just
buffering.
wait. Like, how many people have pulled all kinds of things out of their hair watching that thing go? Because it would be great if they could at least give you
Time.
a little bit
Yeah.
of a guesstimate.
Yeah, not
you know,
I-
like say it's
you're-
going to be 7 minutes.
You're
Then
just
you'd go
You're just
okay.
stuck looking at
But
it.
you have no
Well,
idea.
your computer has to figure out where to start because there's
All
so
right.
much to do.
You're right. It had a lot of work, but you know what? I have an updated computer at home now, so I'm
That's
pleased
funny.
by that. Look, I don't know where to go with you today, Scrape, but do you have anything more? You want to get off your anything else you've been hanging on to?
Off in the first couple minutes of this
he said I was a bad dog owner yesterday, and
we talked. I mean, I think we proved that you kind of are a little bit.
I'm not a bad dog.
Your dog
owner.
went after another dog.
It did not go. He did not go after another dog.
The person didn't know that.
It was making everybody uncomfortable.
Didn't know that your dog was going to arrive with good or bad intentions.
I
chased after another animal.
Fair question.
I've also found out more about this gentleman.
Oh, see, now
he's done it to other people at the park too.
Now you've been deep diving into this gentleman because he told you to put your leash on your dog.
No, someone told me because they saw this whole thing go down the other day.
So you went back today?
Yes, this morning, and they were like,
and
"Hey,
you're still salty about it." So
no,
you brought it up,
no,
or somebody unsolicited brought it up to you.
No, my friend from New Zealand, his name's Matt too. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry that happened because that guy keeps doing it to everyone. He did it to my wife. He did it to
without you bringing anything.
Without me bringing it
up to you.
Yes. Well, I walked up to him because that's where he's my boy. He's my New Zealand guy.
Matt.
We talk about New Zealand all the time.
Great.
Okay, I'm sorry, Chris.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall at that dog park.
He's actually a very interesting guy. He grew up in Thailand.
What's happening in downtown Wellington today? That's the capital of New Zealand, for those of you uninformed.
He took a little bit for him to catch up to that.
Yeah, it took him a moment. All right, Aztecs, we're going to get to this Eric Hosmer audio shortly. But I think we're going to do more Padres in the next segment. Since we have a free segment, we're going to talk about some of the free agent possibilities for the Padres. So we'll hear what Hosmer had to say. He's
going to be so happy right now.
But he suggested this idea. Both Tony and I said, and then he just failed to get a guest for the show, so we were left with nothing else to do.
That is also not true.
I haven't told one lie yet, Tony.
Neither of you guys have. This is makes the show so fantastic.
I did have a guest, but our guest.
You guys are on point today.
Our guest had some other things going on, and so we had to rain check it.
So the question is, great. What is the end result of the guest not being able to do anything today?
You guys having to do a little bit of critical thinking.
That's AKA we have no guest. All right, perfect. Let's hear from Mr. Hosmer.
Oh, you want to hear from him now?
Are we not doing that now?
We'll do Hosmer later. We'll do Aztecs now.
I thought we'd bunch it in with all of the Padres stuff.
Fair enough.
I did want to call attention to my Twitter feed, which I don't normally do, at ChrisLOSD. But I did tweet. I found this on Twitter. I tweeted it out if you guys want to see it. Tony Gwynn Jr. inside the park home run. Do we know what year this was? I asked. I go. I got to tweet it out. You're inside the park home run. He goes. I hit 2. Which one? Yeah. I was like, really? You hit 2 of these things, huh?
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. Let me pull you.
I think it's great. It's against Arizona.
Oh, this is 2010.
2010, and I love the face plant at home plate.
I was tired.
You were tired. That's a long way to go, right? So beautiful, kind of a line drive to short left field down the line. Left fielder dove for it.
I think those.
And he did not come up with it. So
yeah.
And Dick Enberg on the call. If you listen to it, Tony, you'll hear old Dick Enberg on that. But that's kind of cool. The other thing I tweeted out was a comment from Brian Dutcher today, which was so spot on. I loved it. It's from the Aztec Media Day.
I saw this.
Basketball.
I saw your. I'm just seeing it. I should say.
He said, "quote: I look at it this way: we are 7 and UConn over the last 2 years in the NCAA tournament.
That's good.
We've got 7 tournament wins and 2 losses to the best team in the country." That's Brian Dutcher.
Facts.
And that is facts. And it kind of just reminds you of how lucky we have been to watch this Aztec basketball team, the last 2 winners especially.
Perspective.
And I'm looking forward, to another year. But I will say this. The Aztecs come in, I think, Brian will use this with a little chip on their shoulder. They were predicted 4th in the Mountain West Conference in the preseason media poll. Now, they did lose, a great talent in Jaden Ledee. And they lost some other key players. But, we talked yesterday about Magoon Guath. I can't wait to see this guy play. And the Aztecs were voted to have the freshman of the year, preseason freshman of the year coming in. So, look, I still think Brian Dutcher and those guys are going to find a way to have a great season. So best of luck to them. But they were picked 4th by the Mountain West, or by the media that covers the Mountain West Conference.
You
So,
know,
that's a great quote, though, isn't it, Tony? I mean,
I love that.
7 in UConn. How many other teams can say they had 7 NCAA tournament wins? Only UConn can say that. They have 10 because they've won back-to-back titles, or 12.
Farrell Compton is the freshman
Yes.
that they are
Touting.
and then you got Waters coming back. I think that's going to be
Bird.
I think he's the one that is probably, we heard from Coach yesterday that they're asking him to do different roles than he had last year.
I think he would be your
he's
go-to scorer, right?
I think
He's got to be.
He's got to be.
Yeah. And Miles Bird is back. We know he's got great talent. And, Guath. I mean, 7-footer who can shoot threes and dunk on you at will.
Sounds like he plays the post, plays the wing.
It's going to be fun to watch this guy. And I love their 2 transfers. I mean, Wayne McKinney was really a star at USD the last few years, and he comes over as a transfer. And then Nick Boyd started on that Florida Atlantic team that the Aztecs beat in the Final Four.
Yeah.
So he comes over.
That's very cool to me because that seems like whatever the Aztecs did while they played against him, he was like, I need to be a part of that.
I'd like to be part of that one. But look, the expectations are high for me, for San Diego State basketball, because I'm used to them being so
that's
good.
the standard that they've set.
They've set the standard. But if they had a, 16-12 year, I wouldn't complain about it. I mean, what they've given us the last few years has just been incredible. And we'll see, if they can reboot.
I would be a little disappointed.
Would you, if 16-12? We want better than that.
I just think this program is
right
beyond that.
Should be a 20.
Yeah.
Should be at least a 20.
I'm not saying they got to go out and have single-digit loss years every year.
Yeah.
But I do feel like this team is always talented, and they're well coached. So that alone to me puts you in that close to 20 at least, there.
The only player they have on the preseason all-conference team is Reese Waters.
Yeah.
So, look, this is whether I think it's the fun part of college sports.
I do too.
It's changed a lot now with the NIL and the transfers and guys running all over the place. But the fact that you have a different team every year, I think makes it interesting, intriguing. You can't wait to watch them and kind of get to know them. Then by the end of the season, you feel like you got it all figured out, and then it changes the next year.
The story just keeps adding to itself as the season goes on. This is the one part of the Mountain West that, I think in the last few years you feel good about. It's the basketball side. There's always
it's a good conference.
Some good teams
Boise's
in this conference.
Be really good. They got 3 guys on the all-conference team already.
This conference has gotten deeper, too. There was a time where it was like the top 5 teams were always the ones that were kind of competing. Now, it just feels like everybody is good in this conference.
Not only that, every road trip is difficult. We've talked about it before.
Yeah. They're not ranked, right? They did not get the preseason ranking.
No.
So why? I know that they keep having turnover of players and everything, but why are voters not realizing that Brian Dutcher can put together a team that's worth being ranked?
That's actually a really good question, Scott.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that they're stuck in kind of the whole old San Diego State idea, right?
And I think they're still stuck in the mindset of being in a lesser conference, even though, as you just said, Tony, the Mountain West the last few years has been every bit as good, if not better, than the Pac-12. And before the Pac-12 broke up.
For sure.
But the Mountain West is better basketball, but I think they're still considered a lesser conference. So they lose a guy like Jaden LeDee, people say, well, they're not going to, there's no way they can replace that.
I think that's a great point. I mean, at the very least, when you look at, like, let's say a Tom Izzo, no matter what his squads look like, they get the benefit of doubt because of how great of a coach he is.
They also get the ESPN top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 recruits, which the Aztecs don't get.
I'm saying in years they haven't gotten that.
Yeah.
The Michigan State is a team that you respect. I just use Izzo as an example because of how great a coach he is, and I think Dutch needs to be start being elevated.
Got to consider Dutch one of the best right now.
Up in one of those in that level.
Don't disagree.
Ron says on the chat, down year in conference, best talent overall. I can't wait.
It's going to be it's going to be fun. And you know what? Even if they don't win every game, a night at Viejas Arena is about as fun as it gets.
Remember, you got Gonzaga coming to town this year.
They're coming on November 18th.
I'm definitely trying to go to that.
I'm already going to be begging for tickets for that.
Tony, are you going to be begging, or are they?
Yeah, I'm a beg too.
Okay. One of you begged for me too.
Well, I think I got a chance unless I mention you.
Another
shot. And I continue to blow him out. It's just a half hour into the show. It could get ugly. I'm a clown.
He's got the magic buttons over there.
Have the buttons. I don't have access to the buttons. All right, here we go for another 2 hours of God knows what. Gwynn and Chris, we will talk some Padre potential free agents. Hear what Eric Hosmer had to say about Ohtani and the Dodgers recruiting all kinds of great talent. Yeah, that is kind of my feeling on that as well. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan.
2:39 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, Yankees with a 1-0 lead. Who's that who got the single, Chris?
Trevino, the backup catcher, who's in the game in place of Austin Wells because the lefty's on the mound. And I said, what is Aaron Boone doing? Putting Trevino in.
Pushing on the right buttons.
Trevino got the base hit, though. So there you go. 1-0 Yanks.
Despite Chris and I's protests, we will go over some free agents that the Padres could attack.
And you'll have to explain why you're protesting.
We're protesting because
it's too early for this.
3-4 days after they lost.
I'm ready.
Still licking my wounds.
We've got a long time.
Run it back. Run it back.
Well, then why do we need to do the free agents?
Yeah, if you're going to run it back, we're not getting any free agents.
Yeah,
we're getting all the 26 guys
run
who are all
it
coming
back with different players.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's fun to mention some of the possibilities.
Yes,
okay?
I just want to get your
But
guys'
I mean, everyone's going to say, are you going to get this guy, going to get that? How do we know? I don't know. They're not going to spend any money, are they? I mean, we don't know that yet.
That's my point, is we don't know anything yet.
Yeah, we're speaking from a position of...
all we're doing is notifying people of who may be to watch out there.
Was that a pickoff right there?
I think old Trevino, the catcher, just got picked off first base.
He takes and he gives it back.
Yeah, what was that?
I do like the umpire cam, though. That's pretty sweet.
How was the guy?
It looks, it looks like what's the superhero with
you got
super
me.
Smart.
As soon as
Tony
you say
Stark.
super,
Tony Stark.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. It looks like an Iron Man metal part in the middle of the chest.
Really?
The camera does. Yeah, check him out when they show.
I will.
This is just bad baseball. This is bad baseball.
Interesting moment in between the break. Adam Klug, our boss, walked in and randomly gave me a big hug. Didn't know what it was for at first, but earlier before the show started, he was joking when he told Chris, that I hate him, basically, which is
He told me that? I didn't even hear him say that.
Yeah, he was telling you, at least, because you said something about liking him, and he said, well, at least one of you guys does. The other one hates me or something along those lines.
I think he's telling the truth.
It's not true. It's not true at all.
Why are you trying to stir the pot over here?
No, I'm not stirring the pot. I just...
You're not stirring the pot? You're just claiming that Tony does really hate him?
Okay, Tony doesn't really hate anyone. He doesn't really hate anyone.
No kidding, man. Come on.
But, Adam sometimes comes in here and tries to have talks with Tony, and Tony just is, not having it. So
it's nothing about having it. I'm just dialed into what...
Yeah, on your Instagram.
Adam is look, I mean, we've all had a lot of bosses over the years. Adam is way up the list, all right?
For sure.
But... and I have to say this. Sorry, Adam. I'm sure he's listening out there.
Definitely is.
But he does have the ability to come in with a question or a point and an inopportune moment.
Yes. I don't agree with this assessment.
Yes, you do.
I don't agree with this assessment.
Adam has that. He has that kind of like a lot lot of our wives. I hate to say it.
Adam, you and I are the same.
Kind of like a lot of our wives.
No.
2 outs, bases loaded, bottom of the 9th. Honey, do you have a second?
That is a great
Not really.
comparison.
I don't really have a second.
I'm going to defend Adam because
this is not the time.
I'm going to defend Adam because
that is a great comparison.
He can't get things done when you guys are out of the office because you don't respond to his messages. So
Not
we have
true.
to do them
Not
in
true
the
at all.
I
office.
respond to every message he ever writes me. If I see it. But then again, you claim that I don't know how to work a computer, so that explains why maybe I don't see it sometimes.
All right, shout out to Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
I appreciate the help.
I stand by my statement that you're one of the best bosses I've ever had.
And you also stand by it that, you have a lot of factors in there that remind us of our wives.
I apologize, Adam.
But hey, Adam, bottom line, we love our wives, so there you go.
Key point again.
Another key point. So.
Let's talk a little about Eric Hosmer. He has the great podcast, Digging Deep, that I think is really good and actually pretty informative. He has a take, and I'm watching Scraby and his body language right now. Indicate that he doesn't have it teed up. So
I do. I gotta reload
trying
it.
to stall a little bit longer.
I gotta reload it for some reason.
Yankees,
they got one.
They got one. They didn't get another one.
Trevino knocked in the RBI and then got picked off base. So 1-0.
1-0 as they head into the second, bottom of the second. Here is Eric Hosmer's take on what he thinks Ohtani and the Dodgers are up to.
Is Shohei Ohtani low-key building a super team out there in LA with all of his boys?
Oh, what a take.
You know what I'm saying? Ohtani signs with the Dodgers, has his boy Yamamoto sign as well, defers all of his money. Sasaki is now going to be a free agent next year. So the viewership is going to continue to rise. I'm telling you, I think that is going down. I think that's what he's doing, but he wants to win, and you got to respect it.
Sasaki, let's talk.
I know,
Sasaki,
right, Chris?
the next unbelievable guy.
He's the one that's going to post here, meaning teams will have a chance to pay his organization to have a window of negotiation. No, they don't do that no more, I don't think.
I don't know how
I know
that
teams
works.
have to like.
I just know
pay-
that these guys come from Japan and they immediately land in Los Angeles and they're on the team. That's basically how that seems to work.
Or Angels.
Do you
Angels
think Darvish holds any sort of weight in Japan still? Because he's
Here's-
like a legend.
Here's the deal. It's almost like, I can't really say Kobe, LeBron, but along those lines of you was the generation that Shohei was looking up to.
Right. So Shohei's
Shohei is
contemporaries
now-
are the guys coming up now.
Now it's the guys who are looking up to Shohei coming. And so
Yeah.
Sasaki is the next pitcher out of Japan that is supposed to hit
Oh boy.
Major League Baseball.
He's a Dodger. The only thing the Dodgers have to do
He's
this
a
offseason
Dodger.
is make sure they save enough money for Tanner Scott so that Shohei Ohtani will stop striking out every at bat.
I will say this. I did read, that's one of, our guy's not going to be caught sleeping on this. I'm just saying.
AJ
Yeah,
Preller?
I'm just saying.
I've heard
I'm sure he's
going
gonna-
to for a
He's
long
de-
time.
if chances are, if we're talking about it now, he probably has been on it for like the last 3 years.
And
Yes,
they
but
do
what
have-
can he do if we can't raise the payroll back up? I mean, unfortunately, I don't know that is going to matter.
We're going to need him to work the same magic that he worked this year.
Do you think we're going to get?
Maybe Sasaki will come here and defer all of his money like Ohtani did for the Dodgers. Take after the guy he looks up to.
Do you think that we'll get any sort of clarity on what the Padres are going to do with the payroll? Last
sure-
year, we knew they were going to cut
I'm
payroll.
sure he already has the clarity.
But us, like as fans,
Us?
and
Technically, we didn't get clarity last year.
we just knew they had to get under the luxury
one
tax.
actually ever came in and said, this is what we're doing. We just kind of all put it together based on the moves that were happening, and then we kind of came to
But
the
now they
conclusion.
reset it, so they could
They
go
have
back over
reset
the
it.
tax if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could.
Am I reading this correctly? Nick Martinez, God love this guy, but $14 million salary this year?
Yes.
Hey,
Wow.
Yes.
remember his option was for
$14 million? I mean, Nick's like a number 5.5 starter. It's great, but for him,
He has a player option for 1 year, $12 million coming up. He has to
Tony,
make
you
that
came
decision.
along too soon, man. I mean,
I did.
you did.
You
You'd be
did.
making $108 million. Anybody that hits 2 inside the park home runs in 1 year.
Yeah, no, they definitely came up a little too early.
Yeah. Wow, that's a
But
lot.
I do think that AJ, if there's anything I am I'm comfortable with, it's AJ Preller and his work with Nippon baseball and different baseball leagues, because he's really good at finding talent.
Yeah, no, that's how the Padres were able to get to this spot we were in this year.
Please, you Darvish. Make Sasaki come to the Padres.
Well, it would be nice.
Make him come.
Make him, you're just assuming Sasaki's the greatest pitcher ever. I mean,
That's another
they
good
did say
point.
the same thing about Yamamoto, and he was far from that.
Oh, look what happened
He had
when
some
it counted.
success.
That is true.
He had some success, but he was far from being the greatest pitcher we've ever seen this year.
That's true.
All right, let's go over some of these free agents. We got
All right,
about
who do you like?
8
Well,
minutes.
we can start with Pete Alonso diving in the dirt at
pig
first
pin.
base.
I knew you guys weren't going to like this one. Here, I will go through and you guys comment. But first, this hour at 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, Buffalo Wild Wings is kicking off football season with 2 limited-time sauces. Try their new Buffalo Bacon Sauce for bold notes of smoky bacon, or get the fan favorite hot barbecue before it's gone. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go. Which sauce are you guys going to try out of those two?
Which ones? What give me?
The buffalo bacon or hot barbecue.
I don't like either of those.
Buffalo bacon? I'll take that.
Yeah, I'd probably go buffalo.
I don't even know if the hot barbecue is like spicy.
Is that Like dipping sauce?
No, it's like the wing sauce that they put on. You know how Buffalo
Yeah,
Wild
no,
Wings has tons of sauces.
I like I usually go with the habanero or the jalapeno.
Oh, mango
joint.
habanero
Yeah.
is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You go hot stuff, Tony.
And I like the dry rubs they have.
But
too.
you're not as tough when it comes to hot, spicy stuff as our
I
friend
knew he
over
was
here.
going in that direction. I felt it. All right. I know you guys don't want Pete Alonso on this team, or at least Chris doesn't want.
It's not that
I wouldn't.
It's not that I don't want
If he
him.
would
I
just be
don't-
DH.
I just don't know if we can afford
No,
it.
doesn't seem like
because
he's a
his
player you
salary
can
this year was
afford.
$20.5 million. His projected salary for next year is over $30 million. So Pete Alonso probably not coming to San Diego. Here's one I kind of like. Shane Bieber
I like
of
him
the
too.
Guardians. He
And
is a
he's-
free agent. He does not have any options or anything. Last year's salary, $13 million. He did undergo Tommy John surgery in April, but Shane Bieber is always one of those guys who's very good, and
Yep.
I think that's a good
He started
place
an
to
All-Star
start.
game a couple years ago.
Reunite him. Reunite him with his
Ruben Niebla.
with Ruben.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
he's from Cleveland. He only pitched 12 innings this year before the Tommy John surgery.
Didn't give up
it was
a run,
in
though.
it was in April, so
Yeah.
would
So you
that
get-
mean he'd be
so you-
ready for most of the
You
season?
get him ready for most.
You
of the
need a
season.
right-hander to take Musgrove's spot.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
All right, I'll give you that one, Scrape.
All right.
Good call.
This one also pretty pricey. Corbin Burns of the Orioles. He is a free agent. He got paid $15.6 million last year. He's projected for a $30 million
Another
a
reason
year.
why I like Shane Bieber, right? I mean, because of the Tommy John surgery, he's not going to get top dollar.
Yeah.
You know, Corbin is coming off of a pretty good season. He's going to get
He's
top
gonna get
dollar.
paid.
Yeah.
I do
And
like
he
fighting the
clearly-
bargains.
Yeah, he clearly has played it out this way. He didn't entertain any extension talks. He's pissed off at the Brewers after his arbitration hearing. They trade him to the Orioles. Goes there, pitches well. This is really lined up exactly how he would have wanted it.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's going to get paid.
Here's another pitcher that
Merrill,
I think would be a good fifth pitcher.
fifth pitcher, huh?
You tell me. Merrill
starter?
Kelly, fifth starter for the Diamondbacks. He made $8 million last year. There's a club option for $7 million. I wonder if the Diamondbacks take that, though.
I mean, he's 37.
Yeah, he is up there.
But I do like this as a fifth spot, especially for the price tag you're talking.
I like Martin Perez better, and I think the Padres have too many right-handed starters. They have all right-handed starters, as a matter of fact. Don't mind flipping a lefty in there.
Do you think that it's an indication of how the Padres feel about Martin Perez that they did not use him during the postseason, even though he was on the roster?
No, I think it's more about you only need 3 starters in the postseason, and you had 3 that were pretty good until Joe went down, and then you really had 4 technically until Joe went down.
Yeah,
so
true.
remember, Yu Darvish was in the bullpen, so
Yep.
Yu Darvish would have been first up
True.
anyway.
Next one, former Padre, got better after he left the Padres. Sean Manaea of the Mets. He has a player option for 1 year, $13.5 million. Pretty sure he's going to reject that.
Depends on the price tag.
How? Because he's probably going to get, with the year that he's had, he's probably going to get
You never know what's going to happen. I mean,
20 mil.
he's 32. He's left-handed, as Chris
Yeah.
wants. With the right price tag, yeah. I think we just
Do you have a problem running it back with the same guy?
I don't, because listen, I think
Not anymore,
Remember, we got Sean, got off to a great start, and then he kind of went the other way. He had one of his worst seasons. It took him another season to kind of find himself. But I think a lot of guys who go through, excuse me, those type of years and then come out on the other side, they're more rock steady at that point.
They've been through
They've
it.
been through it. They
Yeah.
kind of know
The
what
other
to
thing
do.
they targeted this in the telecast the other night. John Smoltz, who, by the way, the more I watch,
Awesome.
the smarter he gets.
John Smoltz is
It's
always been one of the best to me.
unbelievable. If you really want to try to understand what pitchers are thinking and trying to get batters out, listen to this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's telling you what they're thinking and even telling you what the batter's thinking most of the time. That's why he was so good when he pitched, because he knew what the batter was thinking, and he could pitch against that.
It's much along those lines.
It's really
when we,
smart.
When we watched or when we played that Bonds and Maddox clip, they were literally saying the same thing in a completely
Reading
different
each
room.
other's minds.
That is what John Smoltz does.
Smoltz is really good. Mania be good though.
All right, Nick Martinez probably too expensive. Jock Peterson probably too expensive. Blake Snell, I will say, and I've said this on the Scraby Show, I don't think they should pay him to come back to San Diego. They could use that money elsewhere. I need a full year of Blake Snell if I'm going to pay him $35 million a
He gave
year.
pretty much a full year his last year here.
He did, but what did he do last year,
Well,
Tony?
he didn't have a full year last year.
And why? And whose fault was that?
Well, you can pick a couple different people.
I feel like that money could be used elsewhere. I don't know why I'm doing this.
I'll take Blake
two
Snell
good
because I
pitchers.
like him,
Yeah, I take him too.
and it's not my money.
Certainly isn't mine. Let's get to break. 3 o'clock hour on the way. Daily Gambit. Who's winners? Who's losers?
number one sports talk station. 3:01 is the time. Chris Hello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Matt Scraby here. No Chronicles today. Instead, we have Thursday Night Football coming up around 4:30. We will send you on out to New Orleans. Saints, probably not throwing out the welcome mat, but Sean Payton is back in New Orleans, bringing his Denver Broncos in for
I hope they whoop the Broncos.
Thursday night game. I think a lot of people are rooting for that. We'll see how that one goes. We have a 1-0 lead right now for the Yankees. And as I said that, bam.
Is
Who
that 2-1?
2-run homer. Kyle Manzardo. Cleveland Guardians. 2-run bomb. Has just given Cleveland a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the third inning. The ball was sailing out of the ballpark as I was giving the score. So Cleveland takes its first lead, I believe, of that series in game number 3. You know, Austin Hedges is in the starting lineup today for Cleveland.
What's wrong with that?
I just can't see a championship team with that being the case. But I regress.
I will say.
I've been so down on Cleveland after 2 games, I got to tell you.
The Astros won a couple titles with Martin Maldonado.
Automatic out, yeah.
He was hitting 176, something along those lines.
Yeah. All right. Well, I probably should be rooting more for our old friend Hedges, but I don't know. Maybe I'm jealous. The guy was on the Rangers last year, and now he's on the Guardians. He might win another ring.
I miss his walk-up song.
What did he have?
The
saxophone.
Smooth jazz. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It was.
Probably threw everybody.
I think it was like Careless Whisper in saxophone.
I think that's exactly what it was.
All right. 2-1 Guards, bottom of the third. That's where that stands. Dodgers and Mets play later on. Game 4 in Flushing, New York. Flushing being the sound you heard of the Mets bats last night. Once again, Dodgers have pitched 4 shutouts in their last 5 games. They lead 2-1 there. Let's find out who else is winning and losing, Scraby. Our daily Gambit segment for today.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit. It's our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Tony over there is eating his spicy noodles, and apparently some of the spicy noodles went up his nose.
The noodle itself?
No, like the
some of the
sauce.
juice. Like,
The juice.
Are you okay, sir?
It's burning.
Would you like me to go get a dude wipe from the restroom?
Oh, yes, I think that would be good. I think that would be good.
Please don't. Please don't.
All right. You know, actually, I talked about this on the Scraby Show last night, but did you guys see the Athletic article about the guy they followed who was in major debt because of his sports gambling problem?
I did not.
I think you guys should read it, but I guess it makes sense to say here, like, if you are feeling like you are spiraling, then you need to do something about it, because this person ended up taking out loans after loans after loans and didn't have any money for his family anymore, and so it's just the dangers of gambling. He said he started with like $10 bets. Then he started losing, so he put down 50, and then he started winning, and he was
he
like,
went from 10 to 50.
then
Most
he goes
people
to
go
100.
10, 20.
Then now he lost 100, so he's got to
Yeah.
bet the 200, and then he's taking loans out off his credit cards. It's like it's a slippery slope. So
I started way back in college. Las Vegas used to have $2 tables, if you can believe that. And I you cannot?
I cannot.
Yeah, $2 tables. So I, to this day, find it really uncomfortable to a $10 table. Just seems absurd to me.
Yeah.
And I know that's pretty much the cheapest one they have nowadays.
Yeah,
I've
you're
seen some
lucky to
$5
find
ones.
a $10
Have you?
table.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do like blackjack a lot. I mean, I used to before.
What's
I
to
stopped
like
drinking.
about a game that is stacked against you? That's the thing that I don't like.
You know why
Chris
people
always
like
puts
it?
it in
You
the
know why
way.
people like it? Is because it's the easiest game to play.
to understand.
And understand.
Roulette and craps are very difficult to understand.
Right.
That's fair. Understood.
Craps,
with that.
I mean, you can win big, but you can also
You got to know.
lose
You
real
can put all
fast.
your money down on the crap, and the guy gets that little rake and just pulls it all in, and you're like, "What happened?
It's an empty feeling.
What happened there?" Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
do I,
but
do I
I've
get
seen-
that back? No, man, that's gone.
No.
I've seen some of the biggest celebrations.
That's gone.
I've seen some of the biggest
That's-
celebrations in
At the crap
casinos
table?
around crap
Oh,
tables.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
no, because if you,
You get
roll
a
the
good
right
table.
number, people
Oh.
can win some serious money.
Absolutely.
But
They can. I remember my grandpa years and years ago won a ton of money playing craps, and he ended up giving the dealer a tip, and then later on he was like, I
Wish I
gave him
had
too
that
much.
back.
I gave him too much.
I had that back.
When I turned 21, I went to Las Vegas, as a lot of 21-year-olds do. And the first experience was like the worst thing that could happen
because you won.
I won.
Everybody who
And
goes
I
for the
won-
first time
and
wins.
I won big in craps.
Almost guaranteed to win your first
And
time.
so I went
it's
back.
like a rule of
I
Vegas
went back
for
the
some
very
reason.
next time,
Yeah.
expecting to. I
just thought it was-
lost.
yeah.
I lost whatever money I put on there in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was so discouraging that I really haven't gambled ever since.
Yeah, there is a really tough feeling. Like, I used to go to the casino with my friend all the time, and sometimes we'd be there for 15 minutes because our money that we brought is gone in 15 minutes.
That also tells you that you guys were responsible because you went in there with a plan. This is the money I'm gonna use. When it's gone, and he's like, all right.
I mean, I go to Las Vegas and Reno with the basketball every year, and we stay in the casinos, and walking by that, it's much easier as I get more distanced from it.
Yeah.
But I will say there's a little bit of an attraction to go sit down and play.
There
and I
always
just
is.
I don't do it anymore, and I'm
There
kind of
always
glad
is.
I don't. But you kind of feel like it'd be kind of fun.
It's like, man, I'm in a casino.
I know.
I've been the guy to go back to the ATM multiple times, but I'm also a guy who is falls into addiction very easily. I've never had a gambling problem, and I can gamble responsibly. So I'm not saying people shouldn't gamble. I'm just saying pay attention to your to your
gamble
wins and losses.
responsibly.
Yeah, gamble
You can
responsibly.
gamble responsibly out there. It can be done.
All right. Last night, Dodgers and Mets over under 7.5 runs. You guys said
Damn Max
under.
Muncy with
I said
cheap
over.
home run that didn't matter.
8-0 was the score.
was
It
Max's
went over.
fault. Knock
It
it
was.
off,
It was
man.
Max.
Shohei
Max put him
Ohtani, over under 1.5 total bases. You guys went over. I went under. He hit a home run, so he got
did
his bases.
make that, yeah.
Francisco Lindor over under 1.5 runs plus hits plus RBIs. Chris went under. Tony and I went over, and we were wrong. He went 0 for 4 last night, but he
had
did make an
0.
incredible play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one, you guys convinced me of this, so I'm mad at both of you.
Walker Buehler over under 3.5 strikeouts. Chris and I, or Tony went under. We all went under.
Yeah.
He had 6. He
Yeah.
had 0 against the Padres.
Yeah,
I know.
but he looked different last
He
night.
didn't look the same. His pants looked a little tighter. His curveball was a little tighter.
He had like sleeves on.
he was
I'll be honest with you. He scares me out there.
he
Just
seems
because
like a little bit of a psychopath.
he looks like a psychopath and he acts like it. Honestly, he does. I don't know if that's the image he wants, but that's the one he gives.
It's crazy to think that someone actually robbed him of his watch. Like, he might not be the guy I would go up to and try to steal a watch from. Anyway, the Liberty -3 over the Lynx last night. You guys chose the Lynx. I chose the Liberty. And thanks to Sabrina Ionescu, it pushed. Liberty 80, Lynx 77.
Her 3-point shot was the difference. What a
Brianna Stewart and
shot. Nafisha Collier.
Nafisha, thank you, Collier. I could not remember her first name. Who scored more in this game? Collier, Chris chose. Tony and I chose Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart had 30, and Collier had 22. So
She
we
had
won
a
that
great game. Brianna Stewart is all
Baller.
that.
Yeah.
Baller.
All that.
The Utah Hockey Club -1.5 on the puck line.
Scraby refused to pick them because of their name.
Yes, minus
Served
1.5
them
on
well.
the puck line. You guys chose the Ducks, or Chris and I chose the Ducks. Tony chose the Hockey Club. Hockey
Ducks
Club
covered.
won, but they only won by 1 goal.
Ducks
5-4.
covered.
So the Hockey Club's pretty good, huh, Chris?
They're off to a good start. It's
What is
5
with
games
hockey
in.
and these new teams come in and they have success?
Golden
immediately?
Knights?
Golden Knights.
Well, the Golden Knights were an expansion team, and the NHL doesn't have
Oh,
really
I guess
rules like that.
Utah is not an expansion team,
Utah's
right?
not an expansion team.
That's
They
right.
they moved from Phoenix, but they're off to a good start. I don't know. They're not normally a good team, but they've got a little momentum early. All right, so right now we got Scraby leading the week at 10-8.
Wow.
We got Tony at 9-9. Chris is also playing.
You don't want to give your record?
7-11. It's not very good.
7-11.
Yeah, let's see what happens tonight. Denver 2.5 over the Saints. Start with you, Scraby, today.
Denver, where in this game is in New Orleans?
At New Orleans.
Yeah,
New Orleans.
Denver favored on the road.
Spencer Rattler's playing.
He is.
Bo Nix has been quietly pretty serviceable lately. I'm going to take the Broncos.
Going to take Denver on the road. Saints also without Olave and without Rashid Shaheed, who is now being said, their sources say he's now out for the season.
Oh, wow.
The speedy Saints receiver. But still, this is a karma game.
Yep.
And the Saints get Sean Payton. I'll take the Saints.
Let's go Saints.
Saints, okay. Who's going to pass for more yards? Bo Nix or Spencer Rattler? Yes, this is quite the quarterback showdown tonight.
Sounds about right for a Thursday night football game.
I'll take Spencer. Yeah, I can see Al Michaels already.
Oh, I can too.
Welcome to the telecast. We've got another crap game for you. Let me turn it over to Kirk for a little pregame breakdown. I got to tell you, Al, these two quarterbacks are terrible.
Kirk always gift wraps the turd before he gives it to people.
I'll take Rattler to pass for more than Nix.
Give me Rattler.
Two Rattlers. Scraby?
I'm gonna have to go Rattler too.
All Rattler. One more. This tells you what a big time game this is. The highest point over and under total for a receiver yardage total is Cortland Sutton, 46.5 yards.
Ooh.
Nobody is even predicted to get to the 50 mark in receiving yards. Tony, you're first. Cortland Sutton, 46.5 for Denver.
Denver.
Over. Tony's feeling that. Okay, Scrape?
I'll go over too.
All right, I'll go under because I got to make up ground. I'm losing, and that's how gambling gets really bad when you're losing and you try to make up ground. A little college football. Boston College and Virginia Tech are playing tonight. 48 points for this game. 7 touchdowns. Sounds like Thursday night football. I'll take over. 48 points.
Ooh,
Tony.
that's close.
Tony's watching the game.
Oh, he's out.
48 points, BC Vatek.
Under.
I know you've scouted these teams.
I was just thinking,
Maybe.
zero idea about either of these teams this year. I will go over because these games do seem to go over.
Okay. Dodgers Mets 7 runs. Only 7 tonight. Last night it was 7.5.
We got Yamamoto.
Yamamoto versus Quintana.
Under
Tony's expecting. I thought it was going to really easily go under last night until Ohtani homered and then Muncy had to tack on that last shot. Scraby.
I feel like Yamamoto gets back to throwing Yama meatballs, and it's going to be
meatballs.
It's going to be a high-scoring affair.
Saving
over.
that one right there.
Oh, I've said it a few times on Twitter.
Oh, okay, there you go. Test trial.
You know what?
And then he pitched well, and I couldn't say it.
Even though I've been on your case all day long today, Yama Meatballs was a good line. I like that one. I'll say over because of it. Who strikes out more guys tonight? Yama Meatballs or Quintana? Scraby, you're first this time.
Quintana can strike out some guys.
Quintana.
Yama Meatball can strike out some guys.
Yes, all right. There lies the bet.
I will say he gets a lot of strikeouts, but he gives up a big hit. Yamamoto.
You're going with Yamamoto. I will go with him as well.
Make it 3.
3 for 3 there. Tommy Edman. He's the guy tonight. 1.5 runs, hits, RBIs. Now, Tommy Edman has been red hot in this series, Tony. I think he's got 7 or 8 hits.
Yeah.
Leading the Dodgers in hitting in the postseason.
San Diego
zone.
Boy.
So I'll go
doing
over.
it.
I say Tommy Edman stays hot.
I do too.
Scraby, 1.5 runs plus hits plus RBIs. So 1 RBI single would be 2 points right there. But
I'm going to go under.
Still going to go under. Okay. And then this is yes or no because his total is 0.5. So will Ohtani steal a base or not tonight?
No.
Tony says absolutely no. He didn't waste any time. Scrape?
He hasn't really, so I'm going to say no.
All right. I'm going to say he's due. And plus, Alvarez doesn't get a lot of help from the pitchers. Throwing guys out. I'll take Ohtani to steal a base. Tonight is his night. All right, we'll see how it turns out. There's our Daily Gambit for today. Still to come, Big Five in this hour today, because remember, we're only going to 4:30. Chris versus the fans, and Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em a little later on. 2-1 Guards over the Yanks. Top of the fourth. More Gwynn and Chris coming up after.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center.
Yes, indeed. 3:21 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Grady. Guardians still ahead 2-1 against the Yankees.
Matthew Boyd, left-hander, getting it done. 4 innings work for the Guards. Still want to call him the Tribe. I have to pause ever so slightly every time.
I do too, quite often. The Tribe is a good one too.
I like the Tribe.
That was a good short nickname.
Good nickname, yeah.
Our guy, Kawhi Leonard. Let's talk about it.
Well, I think we should let Scraby go off on a tangent for about 10 minutes because he can easily do that on Kawhi Leonard. Your favorite player in sports, Scrabe? You
tread lightly.
I
buddy.
know.
Tread lightly.
I am.
Yes, because we are going to defend him to the nth degree, of course.
I know you both will.
Yeah.
There's nothing that bothers me more
What is
in
he
sports.
What's
in
he doing?
sports
What is he doing that's bothering you?
than players who are perceived as great players.
What is he doing there? That sounded like you were speaking to Trey, your child, right there. Trey, what is your friend doing that is bothering you?
I basically what it comes down to is I'm not a fan of players taking lots of money and then always being hurt. And I know it's not their fault that they're hurt, but it seems like Kawhi Leonard is always hurt. Like, I don't know how many games he's missed. I didn't go that far to look that up, but it does seem like he's not worth the money that the Clippers are paying him.
But is that his fault or is that the Clippers' fault?
I think the Clippers are forced into the max contract because of the NBA, and
Who's forcing them?
well, if they don't give the max contract to him, someone else is going to give him a max contract.
That's kind of
Then let it be their fault.
Here's my question. When you're looking at a player to bring into your franchise and you're like, hey, we're going to have to pay you $200 million over the next 4 years, 5 years, like, don't you think this guy never plays? Why are we bringing this guy in?
I got an idea.
Let's
go ahead, Tony.
Let's back this up a little
Yeah.
bit. If I'm not mistaken, they pretty much got Kawhi through a whole season, and then at the end, his body gave out. I thought that was like the whole deal last year. It was like, oh, you know what? We did the load managing the year before, and then it cost us come playoff time.
He missed 12 games last year, which isn't that many.
No,
Scrape.
that's a lot
he
less
played
than I
a
thought.
lot, and so he tried to do what everybody said he needed to do, which was, you got to build your body up through the regular season, and then you're ready to go. And all that happened was his knee blew up like a balloon. And that's the thing. It's tough to blame anybody in these situations, right? Yes, the Clippers could be like, yeah, man, I don't know if we are comfortable with the amount of games you played. But prior to this past season, he had been they had load managed because he had issues.
The year previous with the Clippers, he missed 30 games.
Right.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It is, but again, I think a lot of that was probably load management. 21-22, he missed the whole season, ACL.
Yeah, can't do nothing about that.
I mean, he's played more than 70 games only twice in his career.
Last year and the year before?
Last year he played 68, so he actually missed 14 games.
But he didn't play. Did he play in the playoffs? I don't think he
No,
played
he
in the
got
playoffs.
hurt.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
played
that's what
I think
thought.
he played in the first couple games of the playoffs, and then.
So if I'm a team, I'm like,
but
I don't need you for the regular season. I need you for the playoffs.
But that was what he
don't
was
you have to take that
criticized
into
for.
account when you sign him? I mean, you
Yes,
know what you're
you
getting
do.
into.
Yeah, you do.
I mean,
But
right?
that's partly what he was criticized for. What you just said is, we need you for the postseason. So, in other situations, they had kind of got him through the regular season, and then
He played 2 games in the playoffs last year to be official.
and then his knee blew up after that. So listen, unfortunately, there is no MRI or test that you could take that can foresee your body reacting a certain way after a certain amount of pounding. It's kind of how it goes. I feel for Kawhi. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be on the court.
I don't want him to be hurt.
Even if he plays for the Clippers.
I have no problems with Giannis making $60 million a year, but he did miss some time last year, right?
He might have.
I mean, I know guys are going to miss time throughout the entire season.
They're
I
all
know
missing
that.
time
If you're hurt,
now.
But if I'm going to sign a guy to a long-term deal, then I'm seriously going to consider his injury history because I don't want to be stuck
Here's the other thing.
paying a guy to sit on the bench in the playoffs.
Here's the other thing you have to keep in mind. You are the Clippers. It's not as though people are just lining up to sign and go play basketball for your organization. So you may have to take a little more risk than, say, I don't know, the Lakers or
Never mind.
whoever's out there.
Never mind. I was going to say something crazy. Never mind.
I'm glad you stopped yourself.
I did stop myself. But I do hope for Kawhi Leonard to be healthy. I do not want the guy to be hurt.
Let's just as an aside, because I think I understand the frustration that anybody would have when you're paying a guy and he can't play. But I don't think Kawhi Leonard or any of these guys do it intentionally. And you also had to know that Kawhi Leonard was kind of an injury-prone player. He's been that way to a certain extent the second half of his career. You still paid him. And you knew that was potentially an issue with him.
Right. This didn't just start.
So you really should blame the organization more than him. But I was just looking at Kawhi Leonard's career. He's been in the top 5 of the MVP 5 times. He's been all NBA 3 times. Most impressively, the list of players that have won Finals MVP more than once are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic, Shaq,
Kawhi,
Tim Duncan, Kareem. No, it gets better, right? Kareem, Larry Bird, Kobe, Kevin Durant, Kawhi. That's decent company.
Elite company.
Pretty good company that he finds himself in. I think he's had an incredible career, but I get it. I mean, if you're the Clippers, it's like, here we go again.
Let me put it this way. When I see a notification that he's hurt, it doesn't surprise me. Like other players, it might surprise me. Like if was it SGA? If they're like he's going to be out for 30 games, that would surprise me.
It's pretty obvious that Christian McCaffrey's just tanking it with the 49ers. You don't seem to be unhappy with him.
Got all that money.
Rod just brought that up. I know you're talking NBA, but NFL, Christian McCaffrey is in the same boat. I don't see Christian McCaffrey has not been hurt the last couple of
Let's go back to his Carolina times.
Oh, no, I'm saying when he's been with the 49ers until this year, he's been pretty serviceable. Like, he's played a lot of games for the 49ers.
Now y'all ran him into the ground and both of his Achilles hurt now.
That's not my fault.
Very
it's
much
probably
what
his
Carolina
dad's
did.
training program that he has.
Well, the good news is for you, Scraby, once the 49ers lose to the Chiefs this weekend, they're going to fire your coach because that's what the 49er fans want.
In 2017,
you're smarter than the average Bear 49er fans who want to fire this guy.
I'm not one of those
because he's 3-3.
2017, Christian McCaffrey played 16 games. 2018, 16 games. 2019, 16 games. And then 2020, he played 3. 2021, he played 7.
He's missed a lot of games, Greg.
And then he's played 17 and 16 last year.
So,
he's had
3 seasons.
Here's the deal, but I'm glad you brought that up. Look at those first 3 years that he played a lot. He was getting the ball a ton.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 years where his body was like, all right, man, that's enough. And now we get to the 49ers. He's had how many years of consistent
The last 4 years of his career, Scraby, he's played 3, 7, 17, and 16.
So this is a year where he's low.
And now he's down to 0.
Yeah, I know he's down to 0, Chris. If you're in 2019, Christian McCaffrey carried the ball 287 times. He also caught the ball 116 times.
And so the Niners are doing something similar with him over there. And I'm just saying this is kind of a thing we've seen from him.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not his fault though. He's just going out there playing. His body is like, hey man, I need a little break.
When the news came down, he was being traded from the Panthers to the 49ers. My first thought was, this is amazing, but also I hope he stays healthy. I mean, I had the
because one thing about Kyle, he definitely will hand that ball off as many times as he needs to.
Yes,
but isn't that the case for every football player to a certain extent? I hope they stay healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
Some players just don't get hurt. Like
the only guy that's ever gone more than a couple hundred games, I think, is Favre was one of the guys I remember. I don't know if anybody's broken his record.
Aaron Rodgers has played a lot of games. Quarterback is a different thing.
Quarterback, but I mean, if you play almost any other position,
I think Eli Manning. Oh, Eli Manning had that long streak, and then they ended it to put Geno Smith in for a game.
That's right.
And then put him back in as the starter.
That's cold.
I get it. I don't want Kawhi to be injured to close the conversation.
I definitely don't want him to be. I want him to be
Favre
healthy.
holds the record, 297. Second place is actually a guy who played defensive end for the old Purple People Eaters, Jim Marshall, 270.
That's a tough man right there.
Yeah, it is. Bill Romanowski, third.
That's
And
Crazy man.
Tie
help.
for fourth, Phillip Rivers, 240 consecutive games.
Wow.
Phillip was walking around with a half of an ACL.
He's barely walking anymore, unfortunately.
Last thing, because I just saw it on the chat. I would much rather have Kawhi Leonard on my team than James Harden. That is not even a question. I would rather have a good guy.
James plays.
I know, but I would rather have a good guy that wants to be there, wants to play, rather than James Harden, who's looking for the next team that he could play for in the middle of every season.
How long has he been a Clipper now? Was last year his first year there?
Let me look it up.
He's been relatively quiet.
He has been, because I think
back
he
home.
realized that no one is going to move Earth to get him on their team anymore. He only played 1 year with the Clippers.
Yeah, so he's in year number 2. All right, good enough. Let's get to break. When we come back, Big Five. Scraby's got it all loaded up. More Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods on the
97.3 The Fan. Big Five coming up here shortly. We are headed towards Thursday night football at exactly 4:26 p.m., I'm told. We will switch it out to Broncos Saints for the Thursday night thriller. Al Michaels, can't wait. Prior to that, we will have Chris versus the Fans at 4 o'clock. Chance for you to win some tickets and stuff like that. And we'll also have a Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em coming up a little later. Scraby, you got the belt in.
Yes.
Did it just arrive today?
No, it arrived when you were on vacation.
Thank you. But I hadn't seen it.
I told Adam
The
I was going
champ
to
is
find
here.
it. I told Adam I was going to find a place for it, and then I just left it on his desk for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
On accident.
Show the belt.
Yes.
I mean, it's incredible. Now, there's 8 people that are still in the running for this. It's our survivor pool. We started with nearly 200 entrants. Most of us were eliminated the first couple of weeks of the season. There's so many upsets. So we have 8 people left. So you 8 people get your picks in this week in the NFL Survivor Pool. Winner take all.
Winner.
Get them in, player.
You get the belt.
Oh, you get the belt, yes.
You get the belt. I guess you can. You did, and I think it's something you can certainly put on a mantle somewhere. Could you ever imagine somebody wearing that out?
Yeah.
Shopping or something?
If you smell. I would just walk around with that
Real
playing.
quick, this is totally off subject before we get
We're not,
to...
you don't have anything to say about the belt?
Well, you and I literally
you
talked
guys
about
did
the
a whole belt thing
on
on
the
it.
air.
We did.
So
We
I'm
did.
sorry,
We did.
I'm kind of on to something else.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson, grandmama.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
him? Sure.
He was on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jack. And he told the greatest should-have-been commercial that Converse had, because he's a Converse guy. Remember, he used to dress up in the grandmama outfit?
that was more famous than himself.
So that was the second idea. The first idea that they had pitched him with got him to sign to Converse. Has him on a gurney with a sheet over him. Larry Bird, who was a Converse guy, and Magic Johnson, who was a Converse guy, are 2 doctors standing over him. And they're basically creating this guy in the lab.
Oh, okay. I thought he was dead.
No, they're
Is
creating.
this an old commercial?
This would have been an old commercial.
This would have been what they did.
Actually happened.
Why do I feel like I've seen something like this?
So they're arguing. As he tells the story in the commercial, they're arguing. What are they gonna call him? He's like, "Oh, we'll call him Larry. We'll call him Johnson. We'll call him Larry. We'll call obviously Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, right?
Yeah, good connection.
And he was like, "Awesome! I signed the deal." So he said they proceed with the commercial.
So he agreed to the terms based on that commercial.
Based on that commercial, they show up to do the commercial, and he sees the wigs and the dresses, the grandmama fits, and he's like, "What happened?" And he said one of the guys didn't agree to do it.
Oh.
And he proceeded to say, "I don't ever knew which one it was, but Larry loved me." He kept saying, he said, "You know what I mean? Larry loved me."
Magic Johnson bowed out of that?
Bowed out.
That's surprising, is it not? Magic is a great showman.
I guess in a way it was, but considering the type of businessman he is that we know him to be now, maybe he had other thoughts in terms of. But it would have been a great commercial. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson creating Larry Johnson. That would have been a home run for sure.
Yeah.
Never happened though.
But anyway, if that would have happened, then Grandmama wouldn't have happened.
That's also turned out that whoever was pitching him these commercials was pretty good at it.
I miss Uncle Drew. I think those were pretty good.
Uncle Drew was
when
good,
Kyrie
too.
used to go out dressed up as an old man and just ball. Just go to like some random
Uncle
pickup
Drew?
game. Yeah.
I need to look that up.
Oh,
I
you
must have not been watching TV for that
he-
segment of time.
It's like a hidden camera thing
Don't
where he would
remember
just
it.
show up in this old person.
They'd like do the
suit.
whole makeup
Yeah.
thing,
And he was
everything,
Uncle
and he
Drew?
was Uncle Drew,
And he was just
Full
incredible.
gray. Yeah.
Just dunking over people.
Well, I would imagine Kyrie. That I got to see. I'm going to have to look that up later. Hadn't seen it. All right, let's do Big Five before it gets too late, Scraby.
Before we do so,
Oh.
Yes.
this hour is brought to you by
thank you,
Summit
Tony.
Subaru of Oklahoma. See all the 2 ways to save right now at SummitSubaru.com.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Coast Credit Union. Guys, got a few problem spots that might slow you down a bit. Westbound side of the 78 El Camino Real off-ramp. There's a collision involving a couple cars. They're over to the right shoulder. We also have on northbound 5, right around Carmel Mountain Road, accident involving a couple cars there in the center divide. traveling on the southbound 5 right before Mile of Cars Way. Accident involving a car and a motorcycle. That's in the center divide. Cordell traffic cam shows somebody dumped a bunch of lawn chairs in the slow lane on westbound side of the 8 right before College. Get 9.5% APY rate on a 5-month certificate for a limited time at Cal Coast Credit Union as we celebrate 95 years in the community. $500 minimum balance. Restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA. Visit calcoastcu.org/celebrate. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we ever listened to it that closely, but I did today.
What?
How does Kelly Danick say these things so matter-of-factly during the traffic?
Oh, she does it
Somebody
every day.
just dumped a bunch of lawn chairs out on the freeway, like it happens all the time.
It's ladders, it's mattresses.
I get the ladders and the mattresses. Who's carrying around a bunch of lawn chairs?
I can guarantee you someone didn't tie it down.
All right.
And it's in the middle of the road. But
Gotcha.
she will tell you exactly what's in the road.
And just do it and move right on like it's
normal.
Yeah. Okay.
Adam said our boss Adam said he almost hit a ladder on the freeway today.
Careful out there.
That is crazy. Good job on missing that, Adam.
Number 5.
Now, the Browns, I was feeling kind of silly this morning, so this is going to be a silly Big Five, everyone. But the Browns have informed the city of Cleveland of their intention to move forward on a new dome stadium in suburban Brook Park. In a news conference today at Cleveland City Hall, Mayor Justin Bibb expressed his disappointment in the decision by the Haslam Sports Group, which owns the Browns, to leave the current Lakefront Stadium. Now, I'm not going to ask you about the Browns building a stadium because something caught my eye in this. It said a new domed stadium. And by the way, the Browns are trying to do 50-50 on private investors so that they can build this without city money. Tony, do you think outdoor sports should be domed? Because I've heard this opinion many a times. Like,
I think if you can get away without a dome, like us great folks out here in San Diego,
yes, Petco Park.
that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Nothing like being in a summer day, being able to.
Not sure why, like, San Antonio has a dome. Do they really have a lot
I don't know
of awful
what their
there?
weather system is over that way.
Dallas is, but they get hot.
And it gets
too hot. Yeah, I
stupid
guess
hot.
you're right.
But I mean, a lot of the places, especially now with, some of the weather being more extreme than it was at one point, it may be a cheaper deal when it's all said and done to just go ahead and put the dome up.
I looked into the Braves getting a dome because I was tired of waiting for the rain delays. And they did look into this long ago, but it was very expensive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think depending on where you're at, it could be more expensive.
The Browns seem like they wouldn't even make it retractable. They would just make it closed.
Straight up dome.
Yeah, just like Detroit.
Does any football have I don't think any football has a retractable.
Oh, yeah, they do. The Falcons have a retractable stadium. I even think the Cowboys are able to do retractable.
No, I don't think the Cowboys
Not
are.
like the whole thing, but like certain.
What's a retractable? I mean, if it's not.
Cowboys have a hole in the roof so
Right.
that God can watch his
That was
favorite
the old
football
stadium.
team.
That's
the old one.
But in football, I know that the Falcons can open up that little eye at the
They
top.
can open up a piece of it, but
Yeah.
when I think of retractable, I think of like not Safeco, T-Mobile, Seattle
Yes, where they
spot where
move, like
you can
Diamondbacks.
when it's when it's
Yeah.
good weather, you can enjoy the good weather. When it's bad weather, you pull it over.
That's true. I wonder why NFL. Maybe they're bigger state. I don't know.
Because they can play in all the elements. They don't.
That's true.
They don't necessarily. It kind of makes the game more compelling.
Can you imagine like the Packers putting a dome on? That would be crazy. Chris, what do you
people
think?
would be pissed in Green Bay.
I miss, weather games in football. I will say having to sit in one. I sat in a pouring rain downpour at the Coliseum when I was younger. If you ever want to look up video of this game, 1977 playoff Vikings-Rams, both teams' uniforms were completely caked over with mud by the end of the first quarter, and it was just a slosh fest. But, man, football seemed a lot more fun watching that in the day. So
it does.
I miss weather games, and they're kind of being taken away from us.
Yes.
Weather games are cool. It's a cool idea.
Yeah,
most of the time.
If you're at home in front of a fire, it looks great.
It looks great.
But it's no fun for anyone else. I get that.
It's not good football generally because the elements are playing a factor, and then for everybody who's actually there, it looks miserable.
I've told you about the time I went to the Bengals playoff game against the Jets, and it was like below zero, and I went to open a hand warmer, and it was so cold it broke my tooth.
And also, that's cold.
That is cold.
And having said that I like weather games, I still think the Dolphin-Chief thing was really patently almost unfair last year for both sides. I sound like sour grapes.
I wish it was colder.
A little bit.
Make it a little bit colder.
Number 4.
Steelers quarterback Justin Fields is apparently going to be demoted to second-string quarterback after playing all season long as the starter. Many think Russell Wilson is going to be starting this Sunday against the Jets. Now, he was asked about this by reporters, and I hope this audio is going to be okay because it's kind of quiet, but I did my best with it. But here's Justin Fields being asked about the demotion.
Justin, is it a little frustrating if you don't start considering how you played the first 6 games?
I mean, I don't think I played, good enough. If I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of should be playing, which is not. So.
It gets a little loud, but you heard what he said. Basically, I didn't play well enough. If I would have played better, then this wouldn't be an issue or something that we have to talk about. Chris, what do you think of his assessment of himself?
I wish more guys would be that honest.
I
loved it.
Yeah,
I will go back to that now forevermore when anybody mentions Josh Fields. I'll say, man, Justin Fields, sorry. I'll say, that guy's a stand-up guy. I mean, he just said, if I played better, this wouldn't have been a question. I like it. And he might be wrong, though. Even if he played better, I have a weird feeling that they were going to try to get Russell Wilson in at some point. So
it would have had to been like a no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's getting at, is that he should have left.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I agree with Chris. It seems like in today's sports world or life world, you very rarely get someone who...
Man, I'm getting a raw deal here.
It's usually that version.
Right.
You very rarely get someone say, you know what, I should have played better. And, I think he certainly seems like he's the future moving forward for the Steelers. Remember, Steelers have been in search of a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired. And so I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for him to be able to kind of sit and watch some more. I mean, he got some playing time, and now assuming Russell does well enough to keep the job, because it could be a week, 2 weeks before we're back having this Fields conversation again.
It's true. It could be. But, I like what he did here. He took responsibility.
Number 3.
Now, Jimmy Traina, do you guys know who he is?
I do. Extra Mustard is his page
he's like
on.
What is he?
He's like a media reporter.
.com.
He's an SI reporter, but he does a lot of TV stuff. He does a lot of the side stories. But Jimmy Traina tweeted this out last night.
Jimmy Traina.
And he said,
I'm sorry. Traina, Tony.
Yes. I'm sorry, but the NLCS airing on FS1 while the masked bleeping singer airs on Fox is such an embarrassment for Major League Baseball. So, Tony, is that embarrassing for baseball?
Here's what I'll say. This is a sports guy's take. And what I mean by that, I know that we all are in the sports world and love ourselves some sports.
And we think it's more important than anything.
Right. There are millions of people that like mass effing singer, as he put it on his name.
Right? That's right. Are you going to put that on FS1? Where are you going to put that?
You're certainly not putting that on FS1.
That's what I mean. So what are you going to do with that?
So although I hear Jimmy's point, and as a sports guy myself, I agree. There are a boatload of people who don't agree and that would rather have the masked singer on there instead.
As far as
That's a
I'm
good point.
concerned, the moon landing should be preempted for a sports event
100%.
or whatever.
I think the moon landing's a little bit more important than a Dolphins game. Okay,
Not to me.
Nope.
Not to me.
Not
And you
to
know,
a lot of people.
not to you either. 49ers or moon landing?
You'd been
Please.
so pissed off.
You're
They
not
cut away
watching
from
the
the
moon.
49ers to get the moon landing
Are you
on?
kidding me? I would love the moon landing.
You're probably right.
Brock Purdy back to pass. We interrupt this game.
You're like, it's okay. He completed it. I can watch the moon landing now.
All right.
Let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Now, Tom Brady is announcing for Fox right now, and I think he's doing an okay job. But here are the restrictions that are placed on him because he is a partial owner of the Raiders, and that officially went through. Brady's restrictions are these: not permitted to be in another team's facility, not permitted to witness practice, not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings either in person or virtually, prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs, subject to the NFL's gambling policy, and subject to the NFL's anti-tampering policy. Chris, do you think the NFL is going to change their mind on letting Tom Brady broadcast?
Letting him broadcast? Can the NFL control that?
Well, he's a partial owner, so...
Yeah, well, they put all these rules on him.
I was listening last night.
I think
and
that's all they can do, right?
There's a lot of slippery slopes because he could praise a guy on the air who's a free agent next year, send him the tape and be like, hey, Tom Brady said all this about you. You should go talk with the Raiders.
I think I think this is really uncomfortable for Tom Brady. I would think it is, but I have no qualms about the rest of it. He's a minority owner. I don't know that he...
And he is allowed to broadcast Raiders games, too.
If you don't like it, don't listen. Watch the moon landing.
Tony, do you think the NFL is going to change their mind on this?
No.
No?
I think Tom may change his mind on this.
It's not going to be as fun.
I think it's gonna be really restrictive for him.
Because, I mean, just given what I heard for his first game, like not being able to be in those meetings, that means he's in his mind he's not doing his job as well as he could.
He's not prepared.
I would think that over time that would start to wear on Tom. And he's going to, I mean, if Tom is a human being like the rest of us, he's probably better at this particular thing than most of us, though. He's going to get in those comments, man. Them comments, they're going to get the chirping about the work he's putting out there.
Yeah.
And if he knows he can't really be the best at what he could be because of the rules, he may not want to do it as long as we're thinking. It is
true.
easy money, though, for him. I'm just saying, talking football.
Like he's getting paid over $300 million with this contract.
It's like probably the easiest thing he's ever done to make
He
this
just
kind of
gives
money.
the money right back to the Raiders.
I guess so.
Number 1.
This one's real quick. The Tropicana Field, the Rays say that Hurricane Milton has damaged it beyond repair for next season, so they are looking for a new place to play.
Montreal, here we come!
Oakland is what I've been hearing. We got to go to break. Chris versus the fans next.
Start your Sunday.
Oh, we got...
Anthony.
It is my turn, huh? 4 o'clock hour. Welcome in. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Just finished up the Big Five, and the last one kind of got our attention a little bit. The Tampa Bay Rays obviously dealing with that massive hurricane that destroyed their stadium beyond repair. We'll have to look for a new home. Now, before we went to break, somebody said Oakland, and my heart sunk.
Scraby said it.
In terms of they no longer have a team there anymore. So it is an open stadium to play at.
Haven't they demolished it already? I mean, it was on the verge of being demolished.
It's going to fall down by itself, Chris.
My concern there is, I mean, who's taking care of the stadium right now? Like,
they can't move to Oakland.
They went into the state.
The Rays would show up for the first game, and there'd be weeds that would be shoulder high.
They can't move to Oakland. I think that was more of an Oakland A's
Montreal.
fan.
Remember,
that's so far
this
away.
Same owner was petitioning to play half of his games in Montreal.
I've also read they could go to Steinbrenner Field, which is close by.
The
Yankees,
Arizona, I mean the spring training facility?
Yes.
How's that going to work?
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays did that when they why did they have to play in Buffalo? Was it because they couldn't travel across the border because of the COVID stuff?
I think that was COVID, yeah.
Toronto and Buffalo are pretty close to each other.
And they're super close.
Yeah, but I've
Just
also heard
swim across Niagara Falls.
That's not an easy swim. I also heard that they are looking into like Orlando area because they have a lot of facilities, which is kind of close to.
Man, that's gonna be tough on the pockets there. I mean, not that the Tampa Bay draws a ton of people anyway, but
yeah,
I mean, playing in having two teams playing in like AAA style stadiums seems a little bit of a mess.
Speaking of the athletics, though, next year, Tony kind of discovered this yesterday while we were looking at the schedule next year for the Padres. The first road trip for the Padres includes a trip to the Cubs and then Sacramento. So you guys are going to be like one of the first.
We're like the guinea pigs, basically.
Guinea pigs to get to play in Sacramento the second week of the season.
You want to show up. I know it'll be hot as who knows how much when we get if you go in June, but by that time they've worked out all the kinks.
At least they've worked the kinks out. Yeah, where was the stadium last year where there was the rat in the that was Oakland, right?
Yeah.
So, it had a possum too, right?
It was a possum. Possum was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. There's always something.
There's a different rodent in there every year.
Oh no, the rat was Francisco Lindor and Jeff Francoeur, or not Jeff Francoeur.
That was a few years back. That was
they saw a big city rat and they fought about it or something.
Something like that. Yeah, no, I mean it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Vegas had their renderings pop up.
I have not
Stadium
seen those.
looks, it looks
pretty
like
sweet.
It looks like it'll be hot. It's
where
like a
the,
big silver
Tropicana.
It's like
hotel
a big
was.
silver dome, and it just seems like it would attract the sun just beating on it.
Oh,
you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
it. I mean, it looks
when
like
is that going to be ready? 27?
I don't. Do they even have the ability to build it yet?
So here's the deal. The funny thing is, it's just a rendering, right? Like, we know how it seemed like the city of Las Vegas seemed to be quite lukewarm on it. They hadn't really like jumped out there and like, yeah, we can't wait to have them here. It almost seemed like they're like, hey man, take all the time you need up in Sacramento until 26 rolls around.
I like how the rendering that they put out is great and everything, except for they have Phase 3 hotel, like all of the surrounding buildings that they're hoping to sell
that are not there yet. Yeah.
That are not there yet, like F&B, food and beverage, spa, casino. Like this whole thing is a disaster. It's a disaster.
I have a question for you there, Ken Jennings. When are you going to get the game show underway?
Waiting for you guys.
Let's do it. Chris
Well, you're
versus
the one
fans.
going on and on and on about the stadium.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
Howdy do.
now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Next time Chris is talking about 1935, I'm going to be like, oh, you're still going on about that? Oh.
I'm surprised you didn't turn my mic off after that.
No, it's fine. I thought we were, I was, anyway.
Poor Scraby.
Rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you are a first-time player, let us know before you get into it. You'll get that question for free today. And Chris vs. the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. And we are going to be playing for some tickets today. You will win a pair of tickets to Parker McCollum at Cal Coast Credit Union Open Air Theater on October 25th. Limited tickets remain at Ticketmaster.com. Let's go to our first contestant. Let's go to Tim. Hello, Tim.
What's up, Tim?
What's up, guys? Little report from Baja Ricks. I told you, Scraby. I got Taylor in the car.
Yes.
Tony, I had to go buy a new helmet to match everything because look good, play good, and I got an all-star in the back seat.
Congratulations.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Team.
Awesome. Yes, I do remember meeting you, Tim. Thank you for coming by.
Tim, are you gonna draw crayon stuff on your car to note the fact that you have an all-star? A lot of people do that.
Not my car, but the wife's car definitely got decorated. I avoided that.
All right. Fair enough.
Smart man.
Does that stuff come off easy?
It doesn't come off that easy.
I was going to say. All right, here we go, Tim. Question number 1.
Yes, I avoided it.
Who is the starting quarterback of the Browns right now?
I want to say Deshaun Watson, but that means they benched him.
Nope, you got it. I'll just stop it right there.
Deshaun.
All right, here we go. Question number 2. What Padres player finished second on the team in OPS this season?
Ooh, go with Jurickson Profar?
Jurickson Profar. Stay there.
Second
on the team.
Not first, but second.
Yeah.
All right,
this is only a number 2 question.
Second,
right?
number 2.
Yeah, I get it. In what was it? OPS?
OPS.
Yeah.
Manny? I don't know.
Wow. Tony, do you know? You're still there, Tim.
Tim,
you've already won, Tim, but
he's advanced. That's a tough
one. Is it Toddy?
No, wow. I can't believe that no one.
Are we missing who?
Oh, Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
Well, who was first?
Jurickson.
Oh, Profar was first.
Yes.
All right.
Thought that was going to be easier, but
it was not easy for anybody.
Okay.
But hey, good for you, Tim. You're moving on.
All right. Third and final question. Now, I don't know if Chris knows this, so this is a toss-up for me. The Pittsburgh Penguins once had a live penguin as their mascot. What was the penguin's name?
What?
We'll go with Peter the Penguin.
Peter the Penguin.
P 2 times.
Stay there.
If you know this, Chris, dude, there's something wrong.
Mario Lemieux? I don't have any idea. I don't have the foggiest idea. Never heard that one. So, Tim, you are a winner today.
Wow.
Unless his name is Mario Lemieux.
Wait. What did Tim guess?
He guessed Peter the Penguin.
What are we doing?
The answer is Penguin Pete.
No, I don't
Peter
know,
the
man.
Penguin.
Say that.
Penguin the Peter.
Tim, you got it, man. Tim, you win every which way.
Stay right there, Tim. When I
you
did the
are a winner
research for
every
this
which
question,
way.
I did not see it ever being Peter the Penguin. It was always referenced Penguin Pete.
Is Pete short for Peter?
Yes, yes, Tony.
I'm just saying it's the same thing.
Okay, I thought I would be getting flack because he didn't answer it the right way.
No. Andres Jimenez, RBI.
Chris is just moving right along.
Single. Cleveland extends.
Your guy is up right now.
3-1 lead. You know what, Hedgie? He's got a double in this game as well, which we didn't see.
He must have heard you talking about him,
Yeah,
too.
I was talking flack on old Hedgie. He's up there with a chance to do a little damage here in the 6th inning with the Guards now up 3-1.
One of the Yankees pitchers, threw a pitch and then had to be removed from the game, so I don't know what happened.
I believe that was Ian Hamilton in relief. Came out after 7 pitches.
7 pitches.
Yeah.
Are we going to
Only
keep
2
it?
of which were strikes.
Clearly got hurt because you got to face 3 batters, and I assume 7 pitches wouldn't get you through that.
That's right.
Most of the time. So,
all right, good job. You know what? You're coming up with crazy, difficult questions lately. I think that's 3 days in a row that I've been wiped out quickly.
Amazing sports. Everybody already knows about the book, but I've really dug deep in the book now.
Yes, you got to Penguin Pete. You're digging.
Here is in 1968, in an effort to bring in more fans after a less than stellar inaugural season, they brought in a live penguin as their mascot, who was known as Penguin Pete.
Very good.
Peter
the Dolphins, under the same subject, the Dolphins used to have an actual dolphin jumping around in a tank.
Yeah, I saw that. Ace Ventura. Yeah.
No. Ace Ventura recreated it for that movie, but the real team did have a dolphin. In the
I think that's
early
messed
days
up,
of
honestly.
Miami Dolphin
football.
football.
That would never work in 2024.
No.
I'm glad it doesn't work.
They wouldn't be able to get a
2024.
game.
I've always felt bad for the whales that are captured and
at
stuff.
SeaWorld.
I didn't want to bring up the name because it's a local
you just
area.
did.
Well, I mean, I read this
Everybody knew what you were
I did
going
this
through.
whole podcast thing about how whales, orcas, they whenever they would capture an orca to bring it back to SeaWorld, the mom searches for their child for months at a time, trying to follow the boat and trying to hear the cries of their child. So that is depressing, that is why dolphins should not be in tanks at Dolphin Stadium.
You see orcas around the world are taking action. They're not playing around.
Yeah,
They catch you. They coming after your boats.
If I ever see one, I'm gonna be like, I'm a friend, not a foe.
I don't think he's gonna take time,
He's
or
gonna be
she's
like,
gonna take time to listen.
You're cool, man.
My wife worked at SeaWorld for 16 years, so
I know
am
she
silent
did. I know she
on
did.
this discussion. Because
I'm wearing my orca shirt right now.
I've heard the other side of that argument ad nauseum for a long time.
What's the other side?
I'm not
doesn't wanna
really
get
into all of it right now. That's all we need is PETA to get mad at me.
Right.
I would have to check my car for explosives if I do that.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Do you know one of my first radio jobs was to go down to a PETA gathering and get audio for a news radio station here? And it was one of the most wild things I've ever done.
Yes,
because
sir.
I didn't even
How
say
so?
anything to this woman, but she was in my face like, you probably eat meat, don't you? And I'm like, I'm just trying to get why you're here. You know, I'm just trying to bring some news bites back.
She hit you.
She was,
probably
oh my gosh, she was so angry that I was even there. And I'm like, I'm trying to,
You
you
look
know,
like a meat eater, though. I'm just saying.
I am a meat eater. I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
there's a clip.
You walked right into that. Let's get to break. When we return, we got our pick'em, don't we? NFL pick'em?
Yeah, we got to do our picks. So.
NFL pick'em when we return. More Gwynn and Chris. There's traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan.
To this series, they're leading the Yanks 3-1. Big blow, Kyle Manzardo, 2-run homer. If you had that on the bingo card, cash in. Gwynn and Chris here, heading towards Thursday Night Football. Saints, Broncos. Coverage begins shortly, so we have to get into our NFL Pick'em segment for this week, Scrabe.
It's time for Tony and Chris to face off. playing for a season-long prize of pride.
I see pride. I see power.
The guys make their picks, and then they stress over their picks all weekend.
No! Please, no! No! No!
Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em starts now.
I'm the only one who's been stressing over their picks this year because I'm getting a lot of them wrong. Tony, meanwhile, is cruising along, and in our point system leads 39-25. That's a fairly big spread, but it is still early in the season. Last week, we both scored 6 points. We got all 3 of our picks correct. We both missed on our upset pick last week. Tony, you go first this week with a 14-point lead. Where would you like to start?
Sounds good. Let's start out with the mascot animal Bills.
Oh, the Bills. That animal. Yeah, the animal.
Don't even start.
Yeah.
I had many of people say I got hosed on that question.
What?
Who told you
Who
that?
told you that?
Basically everyone I talked to.
Liar.
Basically
A
everyone.
bill is an animal. Okay. So you'll take in the Buffalo Animals, Tony?
Buffalo animals, yes.
All right. Commanders as much of an animal as a bill. I'll take the Washington Animals over Carolina for 3 points. I'm kind of sold on this Jaden Daniels at this point.
With a good reason.
Yep. All right, 2-pointer, Tony. Who do you like next?
My 2-pointer.
Gets a little trickier here.
Oh, give me.
Found one.
Yes, give me the Rams.
You like the Rams?
Yes, Las Vegas has no one player. So
Bah.
That's right.
Scraby is always going to... You'll never be a Ram fan. They're in your division, but you'll have a soft spot somewhere for the Rams because they won you a game of the Fantabulous.
The older I get, the more I love animals, Chris.
Good. Don't try to draw me back into that conversation again. I'm not going.
Sorry.
I don't really like another game here, so for 2 points, I don't see one. Jacksonville's a big favorite, but that's Jacksonville. I don't really like Cincinnati. I don't like anybody. I'll tell you who I like for 2 points. I think Houston's due for an off week. Houston's due for an off week. They go to Green Bay. I'll take the Pack at home over the 4-1, 5-1 Texans. That's a really good team, but I'll take Green Bay to beat them at home. All right, 1-pointer, Tony.
Yeah, I don't trust a lot of these squads.
Yeah. It's not a trusting week.
No, it's not. My 1-pointer, well, it's there, so give me Cincy.
You will take Cincy. Okay. They're home to Cleveland. Believeland. 1 point for me will be... Scraby, you're going to defend this, but do you think the 49ers should be favored over the Chiefs, even though it's in San Francisco?
I do. I do. Short answer.
I don't.
No, I don't. I don't think the Chiefs are as good as last year.
They do have a lot of injuries, the Chiefs, right now,
Yes,
right?
they
have
do.
no receivers and no running back.
Yeah. They have Kareem Hunt now they brought in. I mean, they had to sign Juju or bring in someone. I don't
All right, I'll
remember.
take Jacksonville against my best
You know
wishes.
their team very well there, Scrape.
Yep.
Jacksonville beats the Patriots in London. Although I thought Drake May looked okay last week, but I'll take Jacksonville. There's nobody else that stands out. All right, there's our 3, 2, and 1. Now an upset pick. Somebody's going to win straight up. That is underdog. If that team wins, you get the number of points they're underdog by. Tony has been very good at this. 4 weeks out of 6, you have straight up picked an upset, Tony. That's very good. That's why you're leading. What are you doing
Man,
this
that is
week?
really good.
It is really good. I'm trying to put the kibosh on you by, fawning all over your selections.
Is that what you're doing?
That's
over
what
there?
I'm doing, yes.
Oh, wow. How about we go to New Orleans tonight?
Saints tonight. That's pretty good. For 3?
For
3
3.
points if they beat Denver. I'm getting a little desperate, even though it's early in the season. I shouldn't.
Really desperate.
But I'm going to go desperate.
Because it's too early.
So desperate because I'm going to take Deshaun Watson.
Oh, man.
Wow. Cleveland is just due for... Their defense played much better last week. And Nick Chubb back. I have not been impressed with the Bengals yet.
Me neither.
So I'll take Cleveland to pull off an upset there. I would get 6 points if that happens. All right, there's our picks. We'll see how it goes. Check in with you on that next week. I just got 7 texts in a matter of 1 second.
About our show?
Gosh.
I don't know.
Oh.
No. It was Tony typing in our picks.
Oh.
I'm like, where did I get 7 texts from in 1 minute?
Oh,
They're
sorry.
Tony's picks.
I forgot I was doing it.
Yeah.
I got all of our picks in there.
I thought
what is happening here? My phone is buzzing
I
like
thought
crazy.
I angered the whale people.
Yeah, I thought PETA was.
PETA was on its way.
PETA's on its way. Yeah, I'm gonna need security going out to my car. Even though I did not, well, maybe they could perceive that I did.
Yeah, because you said you had another perspective.
I know, I do.
That's a mistake.
Yankees,
That's a
mistake.
You can't have another perspective.
Yeah, you got
no, you can't. With the PETA people.
PETA are some of the
they do not
most
not
dangerous
like,
people.
PETA people do not like other perspectives other than their own. All right, let's get off of this quickly.
Yes, I know. I'm feeling uncomfortable too, Chris.
Yeah, it's no good. All right, Yankees went down in the 7th, so Guards are 6 outs away there. 3-1 Cleveland. They're singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in Cleveland right now. Dodgers Mets later. Cleveland! But right now, you folks out there, enjoy some "This Is For You" Thursday night football. Denver Saints.
Come on, Saints!
Sounds like another 3 points for Tony. We'll see how it turns out. Back tomorrow at 2 o'clock for Scraby, Tony, Chris, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan.